Hello, thanks for joining the Becky Madojemu show. It's great to have you on board. Today we'll be talking politics. Yes, 2023 is around the corner and the gladiators are racing into the arena to slug it out. And I have an aspirant with me on the show. His name is Dr. Martins Ogbu. He's the chief executive of Blue Rose Productions Limited, which he founded in 1999. It operates in Nigeria and overseas. He's the initiator and producer of A Chat with a Professional on television. Today, he's a guest. He's sitting on the other side for a change. Great to have you, Martins. Dr. Martins.
Thank you very much, Becky. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Nice to be with you.
Same here. Could you please expand your bio for those who are meeting you for the first time?
That's a tough one. I think that's the most difficult task anyone can give me to talk about.
You should get used to it because you're going to be talking about yourself.
I know. So, but essentially, you got it right. Martins Ogbu is some guy who was born somewhere in Oba. Oba is in Uden local government area of Enugu State.
The same Oba?
Yes,
not
Oba.
The Oba.
Oba, O-R-B-A. That's the one in Enugu State.
Okay.
I was born into a humble family. My parents weren't that literate, but at the end of the day, they managed to send all of us to school. I've been many things. I've been a teacher. I've been a classroom teacher. I've been an administrator. And like you rightly said, I founded Blue Rose Media in 1999, and I've been on television since the year 2000, practically, because in 1999, essentially, it was a co-production at the time I had with late Prince Ifeanyi Dike. It was called Ladies' Night, which aired on NTA 10 at the time, when Channel 10 was still in Victoria Island. So I don't know what I'm forgetting, but like I said, the most rewarding thing I've done as a human being was being a teacher. I may have made more money working.
When you say teacher, what level?
Yeah, it was a secondary school. It was a Catholic school, a Marist Comprehensive Academy in Uturu. My background is in engineering, electrical electronics. I also have training in administration, broadcasting, marketing, and public administration. So that's who Martins Ogbu is in a nutshell.
And the doctorate degree?
Is in public administration.
Okay, so you read for it?
Yes.
It's not honorary. Good to know. I'm curious about your political CV because yes. I was really going to mention I ran for office in 2002 and in 2003. I lost at some point. I came back again. What is your political experience?
Well, essentially, my political experience have been outside the regular partisan politics. I've never all my life been a member of any registered political party. That's because as a broadcaster, I thought it was best to stay out of partisan politics. If you needed to be fair in your analysis of political situations, you were not supposed to be seen to be aligned to any political party. So, but I have over the years been involved in campaigning for individuals that I believed in. I've also helped in a very big way in crafting a lot of policy frameworks for a lot of governors and other political office holders in Nigeria. So you may call me a political newcomer in the sense that, like I said, I've never belonged to any political party. But at the same time, I am not new to politics. I understand politics. I know the way it's run in Nigeria, and that's the reason why I'm getting into the ring, because those that have been in politics over the years, they've woefully failed Nigeria, and that's why we are where we are today.
All right. But you know, in democracy, it's supposed to be like a journey, a political journey. You are going from 0 to 100, as it seems. So,
Yeah.
why do you think you qualify to contest the highest job?
I don't really think necessarily the way Nigeria is configured right now. We need those experienced politicians, as it were. If you watched one of my presentations, I had opined that those who have been in politics since independence have failed us, and you cannot solve your problem with the cause of your problems. Now, are those other people running for office qualified? Absolutely, they are. They've got all the qualifications. But the problem in Nigeria is that there's so much godfatherism. And because practically all of them have one political score to settle or another, governing becomes difficult. Before President Buhari came to power, I was one of those who thought he was going to do remarkably well, given his background in military. If you remember, when he was the military head of state, and even when he was the chairman of Petroleum Trust Fund, he performed, remarkably well. But you see, you get into office financed by an individual or a group of people, it becomes a big problem because you have to answer to them. And so those political scores and having to align with your political godfathers also are the reasons why Nigeria has remained where it is. And things will continue to get worse until those we consider experienced politicians step aside for the newcomers to take the lead. Now, I understand Nigerian economy. I understand the politics. I understand the cause of our security situations. You as a journalist also will understand the journey. You remember what happened back in 2017 in Borno State when we started talking about Boko Haram, and what eventually happened in 2019, or rather 2007 to 2009, sorry, when Obasanjo was the president. Now, a lot of people, including 7 political office holders, don't have all those information. If you do not know where a problem started, there's no way you can solve it. So my background as a journalist has equipped me with a lot of information, and then my training as an administrator also has equipped me to do the right thing, to put Nigeria on the international political scene, because right now we are nowhere to be found. So I do believe I am eminently qualified to lead Nigeria out of its political and economic quagmire as it is right now.
All right. I went through your manifesto.
Yes.
Before I talk about your manifesto, what platform are you going to be, eyeing? What platform are you aligning with?
You are talking about the political party.
Yes, the political party, yes.
Okay. Now, currently, I am talking to about 3 political parties. Remember, like I said, because I have never been a registered or a card-carrying member of any political party, it was going to be a little difficult. However, I am registered with a political party, but I will announce the party on whose platform I'll be running by the time I make my formal declaration to the press. That will also come with the exposure, the official exposure of my manifesto and all that. But for now, I'm keeping it close to my heart until, yes. Okay. So once all right,
now let's go to your manifesto. And the theme is reboot. The theme of your manifesto is reboot, reshape, and restore Nigeria.
That's correct.
Reboot. When you say reboot, it means to begin again.
Nigeria as a country.
Can you reboot Nigeria without a revolution?
My entry into politics is the beginning of the revolution. And that's one thing you should understand. Because for anyone who knows me very well, I'm sure a lot of people are shocked to see me not just in partisan politics, but running for office. So my entry into it is the beginning of the revolution, and I'm calling on all young Nigerians to come on board with me. So Nigeria right now is like a computer that has crashed. So we need to first reboot it, and then in rebooting, we will be able to rebuild it. And for us to rebuild, it means that a couple of settings would have to be altered. So once we are done with the settings, then we can begin the process of restoring Nigeria to its glory. So that's why you have the 3 R's as my theme. By God's grace, and people like you coming on board, and every young Nigerian, I am sure that things will indeed change. I mean, a time has come when Nigerians should be proud of being Nigerians. All over the world, when you flash your green passport, you become an instant suspect for fraud and anything negative. From age 3 upwards, no one wants to remain in Nigeria. When you talk to anyone back home, the first thing they want you to do is, how do I get out of this country? And that's a shame for Africa's largest economy. That's a shame for a country reputed to be the largest Black nation on earth. And that's a shame for a country that before now called itself Giant of Africa. The entire Africa and Black race all over the world, they look up to Nigeria. And unfortunately, we have continued to fail them. I don't know what else we can do. I don't know how low we can go beyond where we are right now. But a whole lot needs to be done. And that's why you have the theme, the 3 R's, to reboot, to rebuild, and then restore Nigeria to its glory.
And you also plan to revamp the economy through major infrastructural development.
That's correct.
What's the roadmap to that?
Now, the roadmap to that is that, those fightings that come with the winning of an election over the years in Nigeria. And that's why I talked about godfatherism and people having a lot of political scores to settle. So instead of getting into office and wasting the entire 1 or 2 years of my administration in trying to probe previous administration, I'll first channel those resources towards rebuilding our roads. The entire country of Nigeria should be linked with a good road and rail networks. That's number 1. Number 2 is that a national power policy would have to be revisited. I know there was a recent tweak to that, but I see no reason why somebody living in Ikorodu, for instance, will be in darkness. And then someone in Abuja has electric power because the power generated in Ikorodu has been evacuated to the national grid. Now, what this has done is that it hasn't encouraged competition. There are states with the resources. There are, small companies with the resources to set up small power plants and be able to provide electric power to the immediate environment. But they are not encouraged to do that because for everything you generate, you need to evacuate. So that's a major issue. We need to open up the power sector away from what we currently... Exactly. So it's very, 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 very important that we encourage small investors and states to set up power plants and be able to provide electric power to the immediate environment. So essentially, there's too much power at the center, which is Abuja. We need to begin to devolve such powers to both state and local governments. And a part of it is this infrastructure we're talking about. If the federal government is not able to cover the entire state of the federation at the same time, encourage states to rebuild those roads, those federal roads, okay? And then have a process of, giving them back their money. So that's it for me. Unless we rebuild and improve on our infrastructure, there is no economic growth that can take place. One other thing is the airports. We need to modernize our airports. The biggest international airport in Nigeria, which is the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, is nowhere near a local airport, for instance, in the US. And that's a shame for Africa's largest economy. So these are the things that encourage economic growth, and we need to work on them.
And security is also paramount.
Yes.
In Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Given the spread of banditry, terrorism to an extent.
Yeah.
What are your plans to tackle that?
There's no way you can tackle security without providing job opportunities. And I would have to be blunt. It's not the responsibility of government. Government has no business in creating, in employing people. What government does is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and then generate employment. So if you haven't improved on job creation, you cannot tackle security. So that's the stepping point. And then step number one is that you need to get the youth involved. They have to begin to see sincerity in governance of this country. If you tell them you are going to do this, do it. When the youth begin to see positive changes and they begin to have hope in our country, things will change. A lot of these individuals are not taken to arms because they cherish it or they like it, but because they realize that it doesn't really pay to go to school. It makes no sense. You have all the degrees and you don't have any job. And those who are already working are not able, their take home is not able to take them home. So how do you tell a civil servant whose minimum wage is 30,000 naira, for instance, not to collect bribe or a gunje or kickback or whatever you call it in the office, when that amount is not enough to take a bus to work? It's just not possible. The reason people work, the reason people go to work is to make money to take care of themselves, their problems, and their families. But you have a situation where your take home is not able to take you home. So what are you working for? So you need to
So crime is inevitable.
Exactly, crime is inevitable. So there are crimes all over. You're talking about banditry, just because those ones are clutching guns. What about the ones that happen in offices? You know, you walk into an office, you need services rendered, and someone is telling you you've got to bring this amount of money. And if you don't pay, nothing gets done. That's also robbery. But the system is encouraging it. You know, you fly around the world, the moment you get
talking about the system encouraging that behavior, the system also nurtures corruption, because the problem of Nigeria is corruption. And we hear candidates all the time talk about fighting corruption, but it's still there. It's now part of the system. How do you intend to tackle corruption? Is it even possible to tackle corruption in Nigeria? Because I want to throw more light on that. If you become president today, your kinsmen will be very happy. They'll celebrate because they assume you're going to be rich. That's encouraging corruption. They congratulate you based on you're going to be rich. If you leave that office with nothing to show for it, they're going to condemn you. So the system encourages, influences corruption. How do you tackle corruption?
You know, the easiest way to tackle corruption, you just painted a scenario, and that begins with the process of even electing our leaders. The process of electing leaders in this country is so faulty. A political party is asking you to purchase a nomination form for 35 million naira. Where will that money come from? Where will that money come from? How many Nigerians are able to afford that money? And that's why you see all these politicians, because they know it's too high. That's why everybody is claiming my form has been purchased by one youth group or family members, because they know the amount involved is too much. So step number one is change the process of electing our leaders. That's step number one. It has to be changed. Then number two, Leadership has to be by example. If the leadership in Aso Rock would begin to do things differently, that's living by example. It's going to trickle down. If I am the president and I ensure that my convoy doesn't, go beyond the number of basic security requirements for a president, that's step number one, because you're cutting down even on the cost of your entourage. You see a governor with an entourage of over 50 vehicles. And these are SUVs. None is less than 6 cylinders. And so on daily basis, each vehicle is spending up to 20-something thousand naira on fuel alone. So how can you tackle corruption? The people you're leading, they are hungry and they are seeing the kind of lifestyle you're living. We should have a country where a sitting president should be able to come out and walk around. In a country like Nigeria, I don't know how much money we have and the level of sophistication that the president would have to fly in a helicopter from Aso Rock to Nnamdi Azikiwe airport. So these are some of the things. Cut down on the cost of governance. And when the people say it, when you talk to them about corruption, they will listen. But you can't come to TV, even as the leader of a national orientation agency, to talk about what needs to be done by Nigerians, and they're not seeing you live by examples. An ordinary, no one is ordinary though, but you can imagine a situation where a local government chairman is traveling and you have about five people, each dragging one purse, one is holding one bag, and they all want to walk through the tarmac to see this so-called VIP up to board a plane. It's only in Nigeria that such things happen. So there's so much corruption at the leadership level. So for you to tackle corruption down the line, you as the leader, you have to show that example. Live by example.
All right. Politics, as we know, it is expensive, very, very expensive. When do you plan on getting the financial backing for this scheme?
Well, my plan is that I'll be calling on every Nigerian to put in at least 100 naira into my campaign. So if we have, for instance, 100 million Nigerians donate 100 naira each, that's all I need for my campaign. If 50 million Nigerians donate 200 naira each, that's all I need for my campaign. That's why I said we need to begin with the process of selecting and electing our leaders. You don't want someone already approached me to drop a big amount of money, and the first question he asked me is, what's in it for me? And I said, what's in it for you is good governance. And he's like, my friend, you must be joking, I'm a businessman. I said, okay, I know you're a businessman, but I wouldn't know what you expect me to do. So if you're expecting me to sign a contract that if I become president, perhaps I'll make you the Petroleum Resources Minister or the GMD of NNPC, then I'm not going to do that. We've seen in the past politicians who got their hands burnt by signing contracts they could not fulfill. So my contract is
going to be... Would you be tempted at some point to get a political godfather, at least adopt one?
No, my political
to boost
godfather...
your chances.
No, my political godfather for now are Nigerians, and they shall be Nigerians. There's a reason for that. I have a lot of friends who are serving political office holders that I could walk up to and say, I need you to sponsor me. But I'm sure none of them, I haven't said a word to any of them. And they will tell you, there's no single friend of mine who is currently serving in government from local up to federal level that I have approached for any form of support to be in this. That's step one. Now, that doesn't mean that any Nigerian cannot be a part of what I'm doing, but let's go through the process of donating to the campaign so that at every point in time, anybody who has donated money into that pool has the right to call for a statement of account. So you should be able to see where your money is going to or where it has gone to. So I don't think I will ever be tempted to seek any political godfather, because that will be the beginning of the fall of my administration.
Is Nigeria ready for your brand of politics? Because everything you're saying is so, It's opposite of what they're familiar with. Your orientation is radically different.
Absolutely. Well, it's for us to find out, but I believe Nigerians are tired. And that's why I'm calling on the young ones. Unfortunately, the young ones, the youth, Nigerian youth, a lot of them are not old enough to know when things were good in Nigeria. The only thing they have seen and the only thing they know is the way politics is run by these cabals. So it's going to be difficult, but I believe with constant education, they will get to understand that if you collect 100,000 naira, for instance, from any aspirant, you have sold your conscience, because that 100,000 cannot last you beyond a month or two. And the rest of the years that man or woman is going to spend in the office, he'll be riding on your future. So we need to understand that, and we need to say no to all these ones. We cannot solve our problems with the cause of our problems. So all these guys who have been there, it's time for them to take a break. Let's have a fresh start. I'm a political beginner, if you like, but at the end of the day, let us make mistakes as long as we get to our promised land. We cannot continue to do the same thing and expect to achieve different results. It's not just possible. So hopefully, with education, with what we and I are talking about today, we'll get the younger ones to understand that things can be done differently, and as it is done in other advanced democracies across the world.
Okay, so far, what has been the reaction to your ambition?
The reaction has been that of a mixed one. A lot of people have asked the same question you asked: why hop into contest?
Yeah, because people think, oh, you're seeking attention, you want to be popular, you want to boost your portfolio.
Well, if it was popularity, perhaps there's so many things else I would have done with the television. You know, if it was popularity, I've had a platform. I still have a platform. I have goodwill with Nigerian media. So if I wanted just popularity, I could create more programs and make sure my face is a lot more visible on TV. That's number one. And then number two.
Compare that with vying for the presidency. You can't compare that.
It's not about self. I mean, if it's about self, I don't think I'll be in this, because after what I've been through in life, I think at this point I should be looking for something a lot more relaxing. You know, I've actually been through a lot in life, and I do not think that what I'm doing right now is going to give me the kind of peace of mind that I deserve. However, as a lot of my friends also have said, you cannot just keep criticizing. So for those of us who think we know how to fix Nigeria's problem, this is the time for us to hop in and be a part of the process. So the reaction actually has been mixed. There are a lot of people who are quite excited about what I'm doing, particularly people in uniform. And there are also other school of thought, a lot of my friends, close friends, who feel like, you know, you're just wasting your time because the arena is not for people like you. So I expect those skepticisms, and I got myself ready for it, but I don't think any individual is going to discourage me except God. If it's God's will, we'll get to Aso Rock. If it's not his will, of course, somehow
you will keep trying.
Exactly. So, but I'm not in it. I'm not desperate. I'm in it to win, but I'm not desperate. I'm not willing to shed blood. I'm not willing to do things that are unethical. But I've asked God for his guidance and protection. If he believes in my sincerity for my great country, Nigeria, then he should come to my aid and see me through.
Amen to that. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you very much.
And I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best in your ambition.
Thank you so very much, Becky, for having me.
And thank you for watching. See you soon.